In the short history of this channel and its 275 plus videos, we've only done one head-to-head platform comparison, seeing how the new Patria Track X differs from the similar-looking Soviet-era MTLB. But we thought it might be interesting to compare two European 8x8 wheeled platforms, given their rising popularity across the continent and even around the world. One is of Finnish origin, the other mostly German. Both have offered technology transfer to customers, and so we're also seeing both types of vehicles produced outside of their home nations. So if you're ready, let's take a look at the Patria AMV XP and the Boxer, the latter having been developed by Artec, a joint venture between Rheinmetall and KNDS. At first glance, you might think the AMV XP and Boxer are quite similar. 8-wheeled armored fighting vehicle platforms which can support different missions, whether it be the basic APC troop transport/battle taxi, an IFV complete with turret/cannon, or tank destroyer. The Boxer appears to have some options not available with the AMV XP, such as bridge layer and self-propelled artillery, and such a difference tells you that the two platforms have some inherent differences with their base characteristics. So let's go over them. The base variant of the Boxer has a length of 8.33 meters, a width of 2.99 meters, and a height up to the roof of the hull of 2.38 meters. Critically, the KNDS site says that it supports a weight of up to 45 metric tons, while an Artec digital brochure dated March 2025 says that maximum gross vehicle weight up to 40 tons is being tested. The difference between various official sources makes things rather confusing. Indeed, KNDS says that Boxer's power sits at 530 kilowatts, about 711 horsepower, while the Artec brochure says up to 600 kilowatts or 816 horsepower. The length of the vehicle, one of the most basic figures, also differs between sources, as Artec says that Boxer is 40 centimeters shorter than what KNDS claims. Nonetheless, how do things compare with the AMV XP from Patria? Well, AMV XP sports a standard length of 8.1 meters, but there is an option to take this up to 8.5 meters, so it's quite similar to the Boxer regardless of source information. Its width is 2.8 meters, just a little bit narrower than the Boxer. Height is 2.4 meters, but there's an option to make this 2.7 meters. But perhaps the biggest differences between Boxer and AMV XP are engine power and maximum weight. In fact, engine power output is less than Boxer, sitting at just 450 kilowatts, about 600 horsepower. The AMV XP's maximum combat weight is 32 metric tons. Comparing armor and protection, keymilitary.com notes that officially Boxer's updated protective qualities are classified, although the site says that drive modules were initially protected by welded steel armor able to resist 30mm fire in the frontal arc, NATO Stanag Level 6, and all-round protection resistant to 14.5mm fire, which is Stanag Level 4. Patria states that AMV XP features scalable ballistic protection for up to Stanag Level K5+, and mine protection Stanag Level 4A/4B. And so we can see that weight and power are the key differentiators between Boxer and AMV XP. While more power is generally nicer to have, it generally results in higher fuel consumption or the requirement to carry more fuel for the same operating range. There are indeed other benefits of being lighter. As many viewers may already know, the AMV does have the ability to swim, although this is an optional add-on. On the other hand, Boxer is not amphibious, thus limiting its ability to cross water obstacles. The Boxer's ability to handle more weight, however, allows for other capabilities. As we mentioned earlier, the vehicle can handle heavier mission modules, including self-propelled artillery, as we see with the RCH-155, and bridge layer. As far as we know, the AMV XP does not have such options available. And speaking of interchangeable mission modules, these are a feature available on Boxer, but not on the AMV XP. You see, the drive module can be configured with any mission module depending on the role that is needed. With the assistance of a machine such as the Scorpion lifting device, operators can change the mission module within 30 minutes, what Artec calls click and drive. As such, the company highlights that maintenance to the drive module can be scheduled while keeping the mission module operational by exchange of the drive module. It's a cool feature not available for the Patria AMV, even though AMV stands for Armored Modular Vehicle. The AMV XP is actually modular in its own way, with Patria saying that it is, quote, adaptable for a wide range of versions without changing basic vehicle systems. Sources note that modularity comes from the vehicle's changeable roof plate, although it was difficult for us to find visuals of an adaptation taking place. It seems pretty clear, however, that any changes would require more work than a simple lifting out and dropping in of a mission module like we see with Boxer. So if cost wasn't a factor, would one vehicle be better than the other? Well, it does seem like Boxer is the more versatile platform apart from the fact that it can't swim. A customer could theoretically buy hundreds of drive modules and then order various mission modules as needed, with switching of these modules appearing to be relatively quick and easy. AMV XP, on the other hand, is a lighter platform which can still be adapted to perform a variety of roles, with the exception of a few heavier duty applications. Depending on the customer and/or the desired operating environment, the AMV's ability to swim could be quite an attractive and useful feature. Of course, if the goal is to operate in arid environments, not so much. Outside of technical specifications and performance, cost is likely also a factor for many countries. With this in mind, it looks like the AMV XP, unsurprisingly, is cheaper than the Boxer. It's difficult to find accurate pricing since figures are likely confidential and even flexible depending on the terms of the deal. Indeed, there are likely discounts for larger orders and varying costs for varying levels of industrial cooperation and technology transfer. We did find this Facebook post showing that the AMV costs between $3 to $4 million US, while the Boxer is between $4 and $6 million. However, since this post does not show its sources, we are unable to verify the figures and they could just be completely made up. Random and unverifiable social media posts aside, it would make a lot of sense for the AMV XP to be cheaper than the heavier and more powerful Boxer, and so countries operating on smaller defense budgets may see more value in the product from Patria. In terms of logistics and supply chain, both platforms appear to be offered with industrial cooperation and technology transfer in mind. For the AMV XP, outside of production in its home of Finland, Patria has struck manufacturing arrangements with Poland, Japan and Slovakia to produce AMVs for their respective armed forces. In Poland's case, its Rosomak 8x8 has even been exported. Countries that don't have licensing arrangements but still purchase the AMV include Sweden, Croatia and Slovenia. The United Arab Emirates actually purchased Poland's licensed AMV copy, Rosomak, for its armed forces about a decade ago. On the Boxer side, production facilities exist in Germany and the UK, as well as in the Netherlands and Australia. In an interesting twist, the German Armed Forces placed an order for over 100 Boxers with Rheinmetall Defence Australia, making it Australia's largest foreign military export to Germany. In the UK, the Boxer is known as MIV, or Mechanised Infantry Vehicle, while it's the CRV, or Combat Reconnaissance Vehicle, in Australia. While Lithuania doesn't produce the Boxer like other operating nations, it operates an IFV variant of the vehicle with a 30mm cannon, known locally as Vilkas, or Wolf, in Lithuanian. So there you have it, a side-by-side comparison of the Boxer and AMV. While there is a bit of overlap between the two platforms and their various applications, each one has its own list of pros and cons. For customers who don't need as much weight and power and maybe even prioritize amphibious capability, the AMV XP looks like the way to go. For those who want more versatility and the option to use vehicles for more heavy-duty roles, the Boxer could be a better choice. But what do you think of these two platforms? Let us know by leaving a comment.